Okay, hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're joining from. This is Jim Mckeeth, and welcome to this webinar on Essential. Let's see, I'll bring up the slides. There it is. Screen, nope. Yeah, screen, window. There we go. Essential CnWizards, part of our Essential Delphi add-on series. Let's check over here in the chat. Good morning, Kirk and Vitaly. Great to see you. Everybody joining in today. Yeah. Howdy, Kirk and Vitaly. Good to see you all. This is part of our Essential Delphi series, Essential Delphi add-on series. So for those who don't know me, my name is Jim Mckeeth. This is GDK Software Webinar. GDK Software is a Delphi consulting company specializing in Delphi. We have 25 plus Delphi experts, and that number's gone up, I believe, since now, or since then, since I made this slide. We have offices in the Netherlands, the original office, the UK, Brazil, and USA. I run the US office. It's previously the Embarcadero Chief Developer Advocate. We're all about Delphi, and we also have our Codex tool, which is more than a low-code tool for Delphi. It's really about bringing architects and non-developers onto the team and giving them a visual way to interact with your application and also promote best practices and good architecture across the application. Let's see, you got more people joining in here. Marco and Joe, good to see you. And it looks like Paul McGee's on. Good day from Perth with John W. and Paul M. Good to see you. Van from Nashville. Very nice. I've been to Nashville. It was a while ago, though. So logistics for the webinar. We're streaming it live stream to multiple different platforms, but the best experience typically for being able to leave comments and stuff like that, and I think the best streaming experience is on YouTube. So what we recommend is go to youtube.com/ or at GDK Software. And while you're there, give it a subscribe so you'll get notifications about future ones. We do have a mailing list at mailing.gdksoftware.com/webinars, where we send out emails about future webinars and share other resources. So this was my agenda, and I ended up going down a rabbit hole, which I'm going to take you with me here. I think it was kind of interesting and answers some important questions, I think, about this. So yeah, this is going to be a little interesting, but I think it'll be useful and it'll be good. And with that, let's get started. Oh my goodness, Joe Roberts from Nampa, Idaho. We should do lunch, Joe. I live in Meridian. I used to live in Nampa. And I'm not sure I pronounced your name, from Libya. Good to see you. Glad you could join us. And Doug is here from Victoria, BC, Canada. Fantastic. Thanks, Doug. Thanks for joining. Okay. So our most essential Delphi series, the Delphi add-on series, we did a survey of essential add-ons, and CnPack was voted the number 4 most essential overall. So that was based on, we had different categories, and people voted, ranked or voted for their top 4 in each category. And so I tallied up all the categories and overall votes for things that people said were most essential in total. And CnPack was the 4th highest one. I ran this in May of 2024, and that's when most of the votes came in, but it's still open for voting. If you didn't get a chance to vote before, you can go out there and vote now. Scan the QR code or follow the link you see there. And the interesting thing about this one, actually I'll get into more in a second here, and you can see the full detailed results there too, if you didn't see them, is in the general purpose add-ons category, which is the category this was in, and it was also the category for GXperts, our number 1, MMX Code Explorer, our number 3, CnWizards was the 4th ranked one in there. So interestingly, DDev extensions in the general purpose category was ranked higher. And so the reason this is why this came out ranked higher overall is because in the most essential category, so I had you could vote for them in each category, but you can also vote in the most essential category. CnWizards had more votes in the most essential category than DDev extensions, which caused it to tip up. Because you see they're pretty close in here, right? 21% for 21.1 versus 21.3. And so that most essential category was enough to tip it over, which when I saw that, I was like, wait a second. And I was like, okay, math's not wrong. Math worked. Hey, Jay, good to see you. All right, so let's get started here talking about CnWizards. It's always interesting doing these. So GXperts, I think everybody knew about GXperts, but now they were getting down out of the top number 1, even though we're still in the top 4. Finding a lot of people that maybe have heard of it but haven't used it. MMX Code Explorer, actually, even though it was number 3, a lot of people hadn't even heard of that one. So CnWizards is very similar to GXperts. And there are some distinguishing characteristics between the two, and I'm going to point a couple of those out. But there's a lot of overlap as well. So most likely you're going to use one or the other, but you can use them both together. But CnWizards is by the CNPAC team, or it's called the CNPAC Team Wizards. There's another team, CNPAC IDE Wizards, yeah, right there. Oh, Joe, okay. He just said we should do lunch. It's been a while. And now I remember who you are. Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Gosh, it has been a while. Oh, my goodness. Way back in the day, there used to be a, sorry, not the rabbit hole that I originally was planning to do, but we had, when you wanted to play computer games with your friends, you had to actually physically be in the same location and plug your computers in the same network. And so Joe, actually I knew him before this, but one of the places we would hang out was, if I remember correctly, if I'm not, Joe, let me know. We used to meet up at the LAN party. And so this group that would get this event center, and they would set up a huge LAN, and everybody bring their computers and plug them into the same network. And we would play LAN games on the network. And it was it was like over 100 people for a lot of the events there. It was pretty fun, pretty crazy days. Gosh. Okay. Wow. Okay. Back to CnWizards. So it's a free plugin for Delphi and C++ Builder that plugs into Rad Studios. This is right from their website. I love that they still have this old, I guess it's not that old. It's not like Delphi. It's not like pre-Delphi 7 or earlier, but older screenshot here from the older IDE with the more 3D layout. It's so interesting looking back at how the UI elements evolve over time. So yeah, it's a collection of wizards. So that's a really interesting point, though, is that CnWizards is a collection of different wizards. And when we get into it, you're going to see that different ones have different people that are involved in writing them. So I need to address the Chinese red elephant in the room. I wasn't sure about this at first, but then as I talked to more people about this webinar coming up, a lot of people are like, oh, I have concerns because it's from China, which It's interesting. I always feel like that the in tech, especially in Delphi developers, I've talked to so many Delphi developers from all over the world, and it's always I feel like it's kind of what brings us all together is that we just love technology and love programming, and makes us all a team to work together. But a lot of people I talk to were like, whoa, I don't know, because this is from China. So I thought I'd take a little closer look at CnPack. And actually, a few people were like, oh, it's not open source. I'm not going to use it. And it turns out it is open source. So, let's go ahead and I will jump over to, let's see. All right. And let's share, replace screen sharing with, there it is. All right. So if you go to the CnPack website, I love that they still have the Adobe Flash player at the top of the screen. Adobe Flash, oh gosh, I looked it up and I can't remember when exactly it end of life, but it's been gone for a long time. And the fact that they still have it there, and there was a few times I remember coming to the CnPack website and seeing this and just being like, oh, it's not being updated anymore. But if you look here at the dates, it is, right? There was just an update here last month. So, I didn't look at these working reports. Interesting. And they do link to GExperts as well, which is cool. But some of these other links, Delphi feeds, I think that's still around, actually. Let me go look. Nope, it's not. DelphiFeeds.com, though, is, and SourceForge. So it used to be hosted on SourceForge, open source, but this hasn't been updated since 2013, which if you look at the CnPack website, you'll see that it was, the copyright date here says 2014. So, yeah, so that was about the time they stopped updating the on SourceForge too. So, working report. Okay, so this is just like some of the recent changes they've made. Oh, they're also on Git. I didn't see that. Let's check that out. Let's see if that's still updated. Okay, so this is a Chinese. I don't know what that says. Nope. A Chinese Git host. Okay. But this doesn't appear to be as updated, maintained as much as the, oh no, there it is. Okay, so they're probably like doing, it looks like the development's happening on GitHub, and then they're posting the releases to here as well. Okay. So yeah, the original, it was hosted on SourceForge, but now it is on GitHub. They have another project here as well, though, CnVCL, which we're not going to even really talk about at all, just that is another project they have. And if you go to the downloads page, I kind of, even though this makes it feel like the site is not maintained, it just is a bit of nostalgia for me, honestly, seeing that. So we're going to hear the downloads page. We can see that the latest release, which is not old, yeah, last month, is already downloaded 8,000 times. So quite a few downloads for it. I remember when I was working with the a lot of the educators in South Africa use CnWizards, which adds some cool features. I can understand why you'd want to use that when teaching. It's one of those things that I think makes a lot of stuff a lot easier, a lot more visible to students, especially the structural highlighting. So, okay, so it's updated, it's being actively downloaded, but let's go ahead and take a look at it on GitHub. Oops. So they do have instructions on how to get it from GitHub here, which is nice. So GitHub, CnWizards. Now, I looked at a few different things on here, trying to kind of get a feel for the project and such. And one of the things that I noticed, this little bar that keeps popping up down here at the bottom that is in the way. I get that they want to tell me that I'm sharing my screen, but so 5,000 commits, 8 contributors, but this is interesting here. I came in here and looked at the contributors, and we'll see that there's a lot of development back here, back in 2009 through 2014, which is the date that the website shows being last updated. But then it goes here to very few commits in the interim. And then if we go to zoomed in, we can see that as of 2023, now the amount of activity has really picked up again. And so it has gone from being this mature, stable plugin to project to being more in actively development again. The other thing that's interesting is if we look here at the contributors who were early on, right, they've dropped off, and we have a new contributor here, the CNPAC team, that is doing most of the development. Now, CnPAC team has an email at master@cnpac.com. So this could be multiple people sharing an account. Don't know for sure because it says team. And so, yeah. Then the other thing that I thought was interesting here, this is the rabbit hole, by the way, which I thought was worth addressing, but I was trying to figure this out. Okay, so if we go here to, okay, so we go back here to, we do see that there are lots of forks, 137 forks, but when I went and looked at the network, which is really cool when you're wanting to understand like if there's other forks that are more active on GitHub. Actually, I made a video of this, but then I decided to do live. Okay. You can see if you scroll through this, there are a lot of other forks, but none of them that come back. And so people fork it and make changes, but none of those forks seem to be coming back into the main one. So yeah, the pull requests aren't being, and actually we can go look at pull requests. And see that like there's a lot of pull requests that are being closed. Oh, manually merged. Ah, so they're manually merging them in. Okay. So yeah, it's interesting to kind of dive into this and see. Okay, I'd scroll down. So, but there's one thing I thought was really interesting. If we go back to, I didn't see that screen before. Okay, if we go back to the main page and we go to commits here, we see that there is CnPAC, and then we see this Lao is also committing here. Now, if you come here and look at contributors, Lau is not listed as a contributor. But yet, if we look at the commits, I'm assuming he is quite active in the commits here, quite a few of those. But then I noticed that if you pull up the GXperts client, I got to switch over the sharing here. There it is, share the GXperts client. Oh, that's interesting that it's sizing that like that. All right, that's better. The commits here, you can see that they're the ones with the GXperts, or not GXperts, CnPack logo are also named Lau. So, but two different email addresses. So it looks like most of the code is being done by this one person. And at one point I was able to get to a user page for this user, and it showed that their account was private. So apparently on GitHub, even if you are committing to a public project, let's go back to committing to a public project, it doesn't show up as on the list. So even if I come here and say by user, if I do commits for all users, I see Lau, but if I do commits, he's not an option here, which is kind of interesting. Kind of an unexpected behavior in GitHub, honestly, but you can still see what's going on, see what's happening there. So I did I grabbed the code from, bring this up here. I share the screen. From January 2022. So January 2022 was like right after the initial developer kind of tapered off, and before it went into that, or it was during that period of like not a lot of work going on it. And I grabbed that and then grabbed the current source just to kind of get a look at what's changed. And some interesting things popped out here. I guess this is kind of that as developers were like always about, let's look at the code, right? I could look at the change requests or the UI and see what's new in the UI, but no, I want to look at the code. So this is orphans. This is just things that are new, that didn't exist in the old one, but only exist in the new one. For example, actually, so let's just go orphans. Sure, right, orphans. So these are things that are new. I noticed that some things that in all orphans, some of these like moved around. So yeah, I'm not going to. All right. Orphans, right, orphans. So there is. Okay, that was the interface. Oh, I went up one. Okay. All right. The one thing a couple things I noticed that are really major pluses to CnPack, honestly, that a lot of other open source tools out there I noticed don't have, is they have a number of tests here. So I'll pull it up so you can see all the tests. They have a lot of tests here. And I think I saw that you can actually view the test results as well. They have in the docs, and let's do, I have the filter right here. All files. They have help. multiple languages in here, which is a major plus as well. So they've gone through the effort of translating it, even though the main developers are from China. They are making the effort to translate in other languages. And actually, there's more languages than that are being included here. In the internet, the help is only in those languages. But then, like the README, we can see down here is in French, Russian, German, a number of languages, English. Then but then they have the full help translated into a few different languages as well. It's interesting for me as being an only English speaker going through the code, because all the comments and stuff are in Chinese. So I'm sure that's like what it's like for people that are not primarily English speakers to be reading the code, in that the comments would be in English for them. They can't read them, but I can still see the code, see what's going on. Let's see. All right, so let's dive back into the Delphi source here and see the orphans. So a couple things that are completely new here. There is this new AI coder, which is a plugin that lets you use different AI backends to in the IDE. So similar to like Copilot in Visual Studio Code. That is like the biggest new feature that I saw. And then there's a lot of just individual new files attached to things here as well. This one was just moved. This is a converter to convert VCL to FireMonkey. I love it. Actually, I tried going through, I have a report. I went through and had this, you can do this file compare report in Beyond Compare. I love Beyond Compare, if I haven't gone on about that in a while. Joe commented, you can have ChatGPT translate the code and comments for you. That's true. I could have it. I could use the AI coder in CnPack to translate the Chinese for me. Although, I mean, there's some couple things I'll show you about that, the comments as well. So I tried to go through and look at this. I'm a big fan of Beyond Compare, like I was about to say. It's one of those just great tools that I think it should be essential for everybody. I know other people have other diff compare tools they like. That's fine. But if you're not thrilled with your diff compare tool, or you don't have a diff compare tool, check out Beyond Compare. Funny story. I was using WinDiff, I think it was, which is like the one Microsoft ships years ago, if I remember the right name. And actually, when I discovered WinDiff, I was like, oh, this is great. I was using WinDiff, and someone's like, oh, you should check out Beyond Compare. I'm like, oh, okay. I haven't seen it, but I'll give it a shot. I tried, and wow, it was just so much better than WinDiff, which honestly, that's a low bar. So not saying a whole lot that it's better than WinDiff, but I just fell in love with Beyond Compare, and I volunteered to do a presentation on it at a local software developers group, and contacted Scooter Software. They donated a couple licenses and did a presentation. And the person that had been running the developer group for a while was looking to step down, and they're like, hey, you did a good job. You're now in charge. And this was way back early on in my career. So it was pretty exciting to do that. And so, yeah, Beyond Compare, I guess, it wasn't the first, I don't think it was the first thing I presented on, but it was what put me on the path of being in charge of the developer group and speaking regularly. So a little bit of history for you. Anyway, so I went through and looked at the changes in the code and Where did I go? There's Beyond Compare. And stuff. And I didn't see anything that looked like really weird. It just seemed like regular development, regular new features coming in. So I'm not saying I did an exhaustive look at it, and I know people can be creative in the way they hide things, but the source code's here. You can go take a look at it and see what's going on, see how it works. There's instructions to be able to build CnWizards from source. So you can build it from source, or you can use the nightly download. As far as concerns, yes, Kirk pointed out, Beyond Compare is written in Delphi. It is absolutely written in Delphi. I did an interview on my podcast, Delphi podcast, years ago with the chief developer behind it. I'm trying to think if I met him at a event one time too. I think I did. Anyway, Scooter Software, I'm a huge fan. They just actually, this is a brand new release of Beyond Compare. If you have a compare tool that you love, hey, go for it. I need to. They just dropped the new version. They have the most generous, I don't know what to say, the most generous. WinRAR maybe is the most generous 30-day trial, right? But the 30-day trial is only the days you're using it, which for me is most every day. But yeah, so if you use it once and then wait 30 days and use it again, you've only used 2 days at that point. Yeah, they just dropped the new version. I haven't got a license yet. I need to do that. Okay, so Paul's asking what's the deal with the AI coder and source. That is, I will show you that. All right, let me go to the IDE. Oh, I gotta do here. And switch, replace window. Okay, here is we're in IDE. So actually, this is not the best example of this. Let me reopen. All right, this is just another project I'd worked on. Oh no, this has no code in it. So this is one of the things, a couple of things that set CNPAC apart. And there were some other programs, other tools that did this as well, but CNPAC is really aggressive with these coloring to show your structure. So when I commented about the South Africa schools, I believe I remember they were using this. I may be wrong. If I am wrong, I apologize. But this makes it way easier to see what's going on in your code, right? So this if then, right? So when things are nested, right, we see the different sets of colors, and then these colored lines attach that together. This makes a big difference when looking at your code, especially when it's really complicated. I try not to make my code too complicated. It does get complicated. I mean, that's just the nature of things sometimes. I need to go back and refactor it frequently. But yeah, this code coloring is very, very nice feature of it here. Yeah, that's one of the things that sets CNPAC apart. Okay, so let's jump into, shoot. All right, my rabbit hole went way too long. It's already almost top of the hour. If you go into options here, you can see all the different, is that still? All right, I gotta change my screen share. Okay, screen share, entire screen. All right. So I'm sharing the whole screen now, which means you got that momentary glimpse into infinity. So if you go into the wizard settings, this is really similar to GExpert settings, and they list out all the different wizards here. And so as I click through these, you can see the author and the type of wizard it is. There's shortcuts, and you can come in here to settings to change the settings. There's a lot of these that are similar to GExperts, but not all of them. There are a number of them that are unique, and there's some that are unique to GExperts as well. So the AI one has a search up here at the top, AI code wizard, really similar to, I guess I can delete that. You can't see the whole thing, so it's all right. I couldn't get Claude to work. So you have different AIs that it supports, a number of which here are, I guess, Chinese specifically ones, which China is really, I try to pay attention to the industry, the stuff going on in the industry, and China is doing a lot quite well in the AI space. So I'm not surprised. I mean, first of all, this is written in China, but not surprised that they have 4 different options here from China. So a couple things I really like about this is it has the drop down here for the model names, which is nice. And if you click apply, it takes you to the website for where to get it. So if I go to Claude and click apply, then it takes me to the page here where I can get a key. So that's nice. And you put your key in here and select it from the drop down. And you can also edit this. So like I tried Sonnet 3 and I tried 3.5, which is the current one, and I couldn't get either one to work. It was giving me an error about wrong number of tokens, which I couldn't find a way to do that. I thought I was going to get into the code and dig into the code and try and make it work there, but I couldn't. But there's a few places this shows up. You can right click on something. So Smart Code Insights, the new feature in 12.1, is really similar to Smart Code Insight. And then CnPack, AI Coder, you can say explain code, review code, open the AI chat window, which it's going to give me a token error. Apparently that I need to change the max number of tokens, but it's not visible through there. I could change it in the code because I have the code, but yeah, so a lot of the same functionality that's in the 12.1. I was hoping to do a comparison to see how it compared, but I couldn't get it to work. So maybe I'll get a chance to work on it later if I'm not busy working on the next webinar. Okay, so that's the AI coder. Actually, I have a video here of a few other. I did record a video of some of the tools. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to that and I'll play that video. If you have questions, go ahead and put them in the question panel here while I'm, oh, there it is. You get the infinite recursion here. Sorry, stop sharing screen. Yeah, so I'm gonna play this video real quick. Nope. What am I? I swear every time I use this, I can't find what I wanted to do. Okay. GExperts has a tab order configuration as well as CnPack. It has a few different options here. You display tab order, which is kind of nice. You can turn this on and off. That has this thing where it displays this tip automatically the first time. And then I'm going to say auto update tab order. Oh, let's turn the display back on. And so now it will update the tab order as I move these components around. So see, now it goes 0, 1, 2, 3. But if I put the button up here, then now it's Must be higher. Well, that's interesting. Because it's slightly higher, it's making it the 0. See, I wouldn't want that. I'd want the, it's not high enough to justify that. Yeah, see, if I just go up, that's all it takes to do that. Yeah, it needs to like put it into rows to get it effectively. So that's kind of cool, except for that. But then you can also do the, so you can have it where it does it automatically as you move them around, or this one will set the tab order, just go through and does it. Interestingly, it shows the members of the radio group as having a tab order until you select it, then they go away. And this is just a menu that has different options in here. Oh, so it can do all the forms in the project. All right. So that's kind of cool. So this is just a simple demo form here. I'm gonna go ahead and run it. You've probably seen this demo before. Hello. And adds it to the list. Radio group doesn't do anything. I just put it in there for an example. Because there's another feature in here, CnPack project enhancements. I don't know why it's in here. Convert VCL form to FMX. And so this opens the form from disk. It doesn't open the existing form file, or it's not for the form file you have opened. It's one you open from disk. So I'm going to open this one and then ask me what I want to rename it to. And if you don't rename it, then it will overwrite the pass file with the one that's been modified for FMX. So I'll save it with a new name. And then I have an empty FireMonkey project here. I'm just going to add this project to it, the FMX form to it. And then view it, and my radio group is gone. And the reason the radio group is gone is because the radio group doesn't exist in FireMonkey. So it does say in the help that this is still in beta. I'm not sure how long the feature's been there, but the rules may result in non-compiling application. In this case, though, it does compile. I'm going to switch over to the FireMonkey one and run it. It's a pretty simple application, so it should work, right? And that works. So it made it into a FireMonkey application. So that's kind of cool, to be able to convert a VCL application into a FireMonkey application. This is possibly one of the coolest features in CnPack because it's so many possibilities. The code you're looking at right now is not code to be run by the compiler, not code to be compiled by the compiler. It's code to be run in the IDE. Let me show you what I mean. CnPack has a script wizard. Now this is something that I was thinking would be useful and actually just kind of barely touched the surface of look at implementing. So it's cool to see that it's built into CnPack already. Although there's a couple things that's not perfect, which it's still further along than my project is. So what this is, it uses RimObjects Pascal script, which is up on SourceForge. You can go take a look at that. So this looks like Delphi code, but it's Pascal script code. And the script window here can run this. Now, what this is going to do is going to add a new menu item under help. So if I go to help right now, the last menu item's about Rad Studio. I run this script, go to help, and now it says CnPack menu. I click it, and it says CnPack menu clicked. If I run the script again, it says, hey, it already existed, so I deleted it, and I go back, and it's gone. All right, that's not very useful, not very cool in and of itself, but the potential for what it allows for is really cool. Now, you can run these scripts just through the script window here, which is really more kind of useful just as a debugging thing. But then there is the script library where you can come in here and add scripts and assign events for when they get ran. Okay, so you can attach it to events, you can attach them to hotkeys, or you can attach them to context menu. So let me go ahead and show these here. So the first one here is let me just jump into this is going to work here. Yeah, so right there, it tells me what class I'm in. The current class. That's kind of cool. It's assigned to a hotkey. And right click, and there is a new one here, component grid, which is similar to component grid in GExperts. It brings up a component grid where you can come through and add a tag, or edit the tag and context menu of all the components. There's not really components right now. We have some more components down here, so you can. So now, component grid. There we go. You can go through and edit that. So again, this is just a simple, I'll go back into show you the code for this, script wizard, script window. And so right here, this is the scripts that I have loaded to the script library. Component grid is right there. It'd be nice if, I haven't played with this enough, maybe there is a way to make it work where it's not going to give you the, where the code insight will work correctly, but yeah, you're just right here creating the form. There's another one here, let's see. There's work time. So this one creates a little dialog box here that pops up, and I hit start, and it's just going to run, and it's keeping track of what I'm doing in the IDE. So right now I'm coding, well, I'm in the code editor, and if I go to here, then it should say, yep, it says now I'm designing. I'm not sure what triggers other time. Maybe if I go into here, let's say other time. Tools options. Okay, that's other time. So doing something else in the IDE that's taking focus and preventing focus from being on the one of the editors. So that's kind of cool. And again, it's a Pascal script. So lots of possibilities. There's a few specific things I wanted to do with this. For example, like when you're a project group, I wanted to be able to replicate the configuration of the project group across all the projects in the project group. I looked at a little bit doing that with this. Not there, I couldn't quite figure it out. Maybe if I do, I will post it online. I will, if I do get it figured out, I'll post it online. So that is the script. Let's see, there was another, oh, let's see. Okay, in here, you can go to the script declaration directory, which is useful. This is all the Pascal script files that are the declarations. So if I open one of these up, for some reason the IDE doesn't understand the character encoding on this. I guess it's using code pages. That's probably what it is. It's using code pages, and it's, yeah, it needs to be converted to UTF-8. Not that I could read it anyway, because it'd be in Chinese. So yeah, this is the bindings used for the script engine. So the script engine is able to bind to the classes in the IDE. There's two folders though here. There's the Pascal script declarations and the Pascal script declarations EX, which has the CNPack related ones apparently. I think that's the differentiation there. And then this is the folder that has the demos in it. One note is you'll notice this is in my program files folder. So it is read-only by default. So if I make a change to one of these, like add menu item, and I want to change this to it's going to every now and then try and do the auto save in the background, or if I try to save it, it will give me a oh, this is the one that's, so I saved this one in a different folder because of that issue. You have to save it in a different folder. So here, I'll just change this one here, and it's going to pop up and say, hey, I can't create the history folder. So it's interesting that the RTL, because those are in a read-only folder, get the lock on it automatically, but other files in a read-only folder don't get the lock on it. So it'd be nice if the IDE handled that a little differently, but You just need to save it out into a different folder if you want to edit these. And then even if you aren't wanting to save it, if you're just editing it, it'll just still pop up occasionally from time to time trying to autosave, and that gets really frustrating. Nope, don't save the changes. So yeah, that is the script feature. Oh, let's see, there's one more thing I want to show you. Script wizard. Browse the demos, script library, which is here where you can bind it. This here, import from file, export to file, lets you create all these scripts, right? So I have 2 scripts here, and I can save this to a XML file that lists those scripts and what they're bound to. So if you want to save your configuration or share it with somebody else, you can do that. And then here's where you load the script file that you want to use to attach it to whatever, an event or whatever you want to do. Oh, and by default, it has this confirm when manual run, which is just going to pop a little dialog that says, whoa, are you sure you want to run this script? Which I guess could be good, but prevent something unintended from happening. But you probably want to turn that off if you're going to use it more than once. I'll show you a few useful features here, one of which, I believe, at least one of which, is unique to CnPack. So it's probably happened to all of you. All of us, we type some code and Delphi's like, nope, I don't know what that is. And you're like, oh, come on. It exists. So CnPack has a, there's a couple ways you can get to it. You can go in here to others, use unit from identifier. The first time you run it in a project, it's going to do this analyze library files. Oh, I have to select the right one. I'll show you the other way. You can get to it from here, CnPack, uses tools, and use unit from identifier. And now it doesn't have to do the analysis again. You can specify you want an implementation or interface. It has this other thing up here where you can do match all parts of identifier or fuzzy match, which fuzzy match, I guess if you're like vague about what the identifier is, could be useful, but usually I'm putting that one there, and then we'll put that in the interface. And added that there, but then they have to add this one as well. So CnPack. Clearly I would want to add this to a hotkey, although usually I have Stefan Glenke's users helper way better than the ones built into the IDE. It enabled. I think it's better than this one. It doesn't have the fuzzy search, but it's faster. So that's what I usually use. Anyway, so I've added those to the users clause. Now it works. This is the cool feature though. This is the one I believe is unique to CnPack. So right now I have unit 29 in my uses down here in implementation. So you probably noticed this here when I went in here. It has a uses cleaner. This happens to all of us, right? We adding things to your users clause, adding and removing components, and eventually the users clause is huge. And then you're like, I don't know if I need any of these, all these anymore. So users cleaner will help you with that. So specify where you want it to run on, and then if you have units that you always want to skip or units you always want to clean. And skip used units without source. So if you have don't have the source for it, you can keep it in there. Let's see. Referred by components indirectly. Initialization. So this one's important here. This is the common argument I've heard for why Delphi can't have users cleaners, because you could have an initialization. Well, CnPack handles it by just saying, we'll keep it if it's got initialization. So hit process, and it compiles it, and then gives you the report. And so here it's showing me, that's right, I want to delete this line here. And then let's do this again. CnPack uses cleaner process. So now you see it's keeping the UI types and UI constants, or UI types in the skipping list. But UI const is being kept only because it includes initialization. So looking at this now, I can say, okay, unit 29, it says, don't need it, you can remove it. So it's automatically checked it. But the rest of these, it's like, maybe, right? This one has an initialization, this one's in the skipping list. both initialization skipping lists. So now I can look at it and I can make an informed decision. I can say, you know what? I'm just going to remove all these. I don't know what's going to happen actually if I do this. Clean. And yeah, this gives me a little log here I can look at. And let's run this and see what happens. Hey, it works. Really trimmed that uses clause down there for me. So yeah, that's uses clause cleaner. That's pretty useful feature there, especially when you consider the fact you can do it across all of your projects or all your files in your project. There we go. I'm back. Joe pointed out I should get a Stream Deck. I do have a Stream Deck, but because I'm moving between home and co-working space, I've been trying to put everything in my backpack, although my backpack has gotten very big and very full. So I guess I could take the Stream Deck with me. Although I've also thought about doing a dedicated home studio. Yeah, I'll figure out a good solution for that. But I wanted to go one last look at who Lau is here. And if you go to the forums here, the BBS, which again, this is a real nostalgia thing for me because I used to run a BBS way back when I was in high school. Just in case some of you don't know, back before you just connected to the internet and before you dialed up to the internet, you would dial up to other computers and they were BBSs, bulletin board systems. A lot of the same stuff you do on the internet, except you did it on somebody else's computer. So anyway, if you go to the BBS, the forum here, and you go in, you can see that one of the people that's posted most recently is Passion. Oh, I tried signing up, but it wouldn't let me. I didn't get the email. If I go though and look here, here's Lau. So makes sense that he's posting about the new release, but he's also posting, answering questions and stuff like that here on the forums. So here's Lau. He is the main developer currently of the of CnWizards. So there's what's in the new release that just came out. So pretty cool. I'm actually I did. Yeah. Oh, I didn't show this. I can show this real quick. All right, let me do that real quick. There is a you can run. You can have GExperts and CNPack both installed at the same time, along with MMX and such, but you can have some conflicts. So this is showing that by default, if I have GExperts and CNPack both have this feature that can rename components, you drop them on the form, and what happens is they both rename it, but then it gets a race condition. And this happened the very first time I did it, but then when I tried to record it, it didn't happen. But on the third attempt, what happened was it had GExperts renamed it first. So CNPack triggered that it needed to bring up the dialogue, but GExperts renamed it. And then, so it's a race condition on that conflict if they're both renaming it the same. So you can run them both at the same time, but you need to make good choices about your hotkeys and which features are enabled. You don't want the features like they're going to compete, both being enabled at the same time. Okay. So with that, we're done. Do recommend, if you're not haven't used CnPack, so if you're using GExperts, or have something, I mean, really CnPack is very similar to GExperts. So if you're already using GExperts, then you're probably good. If you're not using either CnPack or GExperts, give one of them a look. And there are some compelling features to CnPack that are unique to CnPack and that are, yeah. Actually, I'm really excited about that IDE scripting feature. I'm going to. I'm glad that I went down this path to look at the CnPack because, and then I think it was when I did the diff that I saw that one in there, the AI coder and the scripting thing. I was like, ooh, so yeah, definitely worth checking out. You have the source code, so if you have concerns, you can certainly check it out and see. But I think, there can be enthusiastic fans of Delphi anywhere in the world. And, when they make great tools and share them with the world, that is just a win for everybody. So thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for joining. And hopefully we'll see you. Let's see. So I'm bringing this back up again. Swap. Yeah, you're right, Joe. I need to get my Stream Deck out. I have a Steam Deck and a Stream Deck. I wonder if I could use my Stream Deck with my Steam Deck. I bet I could. Mailing.gdksoftware.com/webinars. If you know anybody that's looking for Delphi expertise, do visit our website at gdksoftware.com and check us out. We are more than happy to help you. We do a lot of conversions, upgrades, moving people to the latest version of Delphi. We just finished a game recently as well that we upgraded to the latest version of Delphi. Let's see if we can do a case study on that one. That would be cool. Yeah, so thanks for joining us. If you have any suggestions for future webinars, send me an email, jim@gdksoftware.com, and look forward to seeing you online in the future. Take care, everybody. Oh, if you're in the Chicago area, I'm going to be in Chicago in 2 weeks doing a little Delphi event with Ray Konopka and Case. So, yeah, if you know anybody in the Chicago area, tell them about it. You can find it on, I need to put a blog post about it. It's on our LinkedIn and probably Twitter and stuff like that as well. So I saw it in Reddit show up this morning too. So yeah. Is my Stream Deck a steampunk product? No, but now I need to make it Steam Deck. They have skins you can get for it, so I can get a steampunk skin for it maybe. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you later. Take care.